0. Alright. Let's do this set. Put me on the screen! Yeah. Anyway. Back onto it. Prior to anything I was talking about, can't even freaking remember. I know I burned some food and ran freaking to put some water on it and got in a little bit of trouble with my wife and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, shit happens. Especially around here. But anyway, don't even know what I wanted to talk about. I don't know, basically, maybe, how, I talked about that, though, before, I don't know, I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna do it. I have, but I had to delete the video, I think I remember now. It's basically how we treat kids, and as a species, because I think in order to grow as a species, we have to stop thinking of ourselves as we are the representatives singularly. I am the representative of all of humanity, which I know I did a video about that. You know, what I'm thinking is not what everybody else thinks, and everybody else thinks sometimes about what I'm thinking, but they come up to their own conclusions in their own way and make it malleable in their situation, you know? So depending on how they see their situation, they make it a critical judgment on it, you know? That type of deal. And that since life is complicated, we should enjoy the complications that life gives us and get used to it instead of constantly trying to make things simpler. Ergo, children. Okay? Children are future. Give them a chance and let them lead the way. Yeah. Pretty much. The number one problem, okay, I have is I heard this so many times, and it's a broken freaking record, and now my generation is starting to talk about the other generation. How ridiculous is it to develop technology to make life better and get mad that the generation that is now coming uses it for their better of their life? What the hell? Are you retarded? You want them to be in a cave and just, be foragers in the freaking land and all that kind of stuff. That's not for everybody. Remember that this technology was made to make people's lives better. The use of it is the point. So if we're making and developing new technologies for people to use the technology, there will be more technology that makes stuff even more easier instead of fighting the thought and the concept of the youth using it so well. Allow it and adapt to that. Okay? Since that is going to be a complication, and we know there's going to be a result from this complication, since youth will be able to use this technology better than the people who even developed it, we got to get ready and be ready and on the move for when the technology changes again, because it will in 5 to 10 years. Ergo, the tablets and stuff. We used to see this crap on Star Trek. You know, they touch the screen and stuff happens. Especially when I was a kid, every single time you had to touch a button. But now it's touchscreen. And it all came from the imagination. Wow. Somebody imagined this, took information that was already out there, implemented what they knew they could do, and made something that was only in our imagination. If we get good at this, if we cultivate this, bringing things from our imagination into reality, then we become what we imagine. But isn't this reality in all the sense? You know? If you say you couldn't imagine, somebody could. For me to be living in a house and stuff like that. Remember that Martin Luther King had a dream. And his dream was for everyone to live peacefully with each other. Even though a lot of people have fucked that up, his dream kind of has come true. At least, in some sense of the words. And instead of focusing on how it hasn't come true, how can we make this dream even better? Because if you focus on the negative, you go further towards the negative. You focus on the positive, you go further towards the positive. You go away from the negative, which is the entirety of results and things that people don't, realize about themselves. Stuff happens. That stuff kind of happens, we get caught in that same old thing of where we just go around in circles, and we can consistently go around in circles because we're chasing our own tails, just like any dog, until something new comes around and says, "Ooh, look at that," But since we have a communicable type of being, and sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes a bad thing. Sometimes we use the communities to separate ourselves from other communities, and sometimes we use our communities to bring in certain people or allow certain people too much power. It's all this type of dynamic stuff that we need to realize and look at and analyze. But when it comes to the individual, what should we allow ourselves to do? Imagine? We all imagine. We all allow our imaginations to get carried away. We invent the boogeyman, we invent the devil, we invent Lucifer, Satan, so many devils that don't exist in our lives. Am I saying the devil doesn't exist? No, I'm not saying the devil doesn't exist. But I'm saying that we're giving the devil too much power in our lives. Because if you are acting, it's that concept of fighting. If I'm not in control of myself, then I'm allowing someone else to control me. Okay, this is the martial arts law. The first one, right? Right. So if I allow someone else to control me, then I am not in control of myself. How is this a result? How does this come about? How does this affect future decisions in my life? Well, at that point, it's not up to you to decide, because you're looking for the answers in other things other than imagining where you want to be, taking those opportunities, because that's a whole nother point too. You won't see the opportunities because you're looking at something that's not really there, acting upon something that's not really there. You're making all your choices All you're thinking and focusing is all on this thing that's not really there. It's not really a big issue. The big issue is you have no direction. You're not acting, the way you should be acting. Coming from me saying that you should act a certain way. No. You should be who you are. You're acting like this other person, almost to the T. Is this who you are? Is this person acting like you? He's much older. Yeah, I can understand if he's a mentor, but you have your own abilities and capabilities of making your own decisions. Why haven't you? You deferred all your decisions to somebody else in the fear of this other entity. Because of this, because of that, all your focuses and all your decision making has been come off of this result. Al, I'm not coming at you with like a hammer. I'm hammering on myself. I made a lot of decisions out of fear, and it's got me start raving mad nowhere. Any decisions you make off of fear, because I have this experience, because when I was running my own business, when I was running my own business, this thing is fucking dead and I'm trying to save it right now. But I was making decisions off of fear, basically of losing the business. Guess what happens? You go in that direction. Because all the thoughts is on not losing the business. All my thoughts is not losing business. Maybe if I do this, maybe if I do that. All these desperate attempts seem desperate. And nobody wants to be involved in desperate acts because it doesn't commit to a service. And eventually you can't be there anymore. Because you don't want to be there. Because it just seems desperate. You get the feeling of desperate. You step away, look at yourself, and like, wow, what the heck was I doing? I was out of my mind. I need a reboot. Okay, I need to change. And now I can come back and be like, oh my goodness, what was I doing? Let me change everything. I need to provide a service. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to do for you. You know? Do you know? No, you don't. Don't know my problems, and I don't know yours. But if this strikes a chord anywhere, allow it to resonate. You know? Start dissecting those points and stuff like that. And this all started from, children and all that kind of stuff. But in a sense, you have to understand that you are new to this world. Just because you have 30 plus years, just because you got 40 plus years, really doesn't mean anything. There's still stuff we're finding out new. Just because you can read a book about it doesn't mean you have the experience of it. And then once you realize that the words and definition does not truly give you the experience of something, unless you go out there, seek it, and find it, and get it. And once you have it, you know how it feels, you know how it weighs, you know it, understand it, and can implement it in your life. Once it's like that, then you can say, oh, I know this. Sometimes people it's more of a reliable source than somebody that's read the book, done the definition. It's like, okay, how long has he been dealing with it? Well, he's been studying it for 10 years. Has he ever put it in his hand? Well, no, he hasn't, but he's done the definitions, he's looked at it. He's pretty much had a lot of experience with it. Send him to it. This is the prime time to get him there. It's like, I'm really excited for this experience. Should have gave you the experience 5 years ago. If you've been studying for 10 years, this is 5 years late. And And now we can amalgamate the 10 years of study with the 5 years experience, which gives you only really 10 years of experience. Because the other 5 is negated. You knew about it, but you didn't know. You can say that with anybody, anything, all this kind of stuff. Coming into something new, you're new to it. Once you get into it, you realize, I'm new to this. This is an ocean. This is not some little freaking surface type deal. Just because the surface of the lake has ice on it doesn't mean it doesn't run that deep. If you can walk on the surface doesn't mean it's not that deep, people. So, experience is a lot better than simplicity. I went around a whole bunch of things, only coming back to the reality of ourselves is that it's more than what we are willing to accept. It's more than what we know to accept. And the only way to get out there and do it is to experience it. If we don't experience these things in life and accept that the complication is that fear will keep us from it and only keep us in the ignorance of knowing rather than experiencing the understanding of what is capable and how much opportunity is at that point. Because there's always a lot of opportunity at any time, in any place. So, and for a lot of people I know, there's probably like a lot of confusing. Go back, listen to it over again, stop at certain points, because I ran it a whole bunch of stuff together. But in the beginning, we're children, this is a new experience, and that we should allow them the experience of what we are doing so that they can imagine new things, bring these new things into existence. Then, from their experience, allow this new knowledge of it and all that kind of stuff, all going together, and like we don't inhibit any part of their experience because it's the continuation of our own experience. And to act like that we know everything in the harder way, or our lives the way we learned it was better in any type of way, does not make it as complicated. It doesn't give the complication, makes it too simple. It's more complicated than that. And we're not looking at the complication, trying to deal with the complication. We're only dealing with the simplicity, which makes the long-term problems, which makes the issue even greater. And we never deal with the issue. So, if we need to deal with the issue, which is there an issue in the first place? Sometimes there is and sometimes there not. We have to allow it to progress the way it's going to progress because we already went down this road. And since we're going down this road, we have to make decisions based off of what occurs. Period. Because what we chose for ourselves. So in all that, that's how it ended. That way. Even though there's a lot more to it. Complications. It's what happens. It's what happens. Stuff's complicated.